Good afternoon, everybody. Happy National Women's Enterprise Day. It's fantastic to be celebrating this amazing annual event with the local enterprise offices with you today. My name is Christine Heffernan and I am a business advisor with the local enterprise office, Cork North and West. So I'm down in beautiful West Cork today in Clonakilty, and I'm joined by Alan O'Mara of Al Media, who's going to run the session this afternoon. The session is for people who are trading online and what happens next. So at this session, you'll be getting really good tips on what to do now that you have the website set up and how can you maintain your website going forward. So as you know, nationally, the local enterprise offices have supported thousands of businesses through the Trading Online Voucher Scheme, particularly in the last 2 years during lockdowns and the pandemic. And it has been an amazing resource to so many of our clients across so many sectors. So today is really going to be about, you have your lovely online shop, you got your Trading Online Voucher, what happens next and how do I maintain it and work on it. So Alan's going to run a short session now, and it's going to be really informative, and we would really encourage you to use the chat function throughout the session with any of your questions. We're due to finish at 12:50 for some Q&A, but please ask your questions as we go along, and if Alan feels that he can answer the questions at that time, he will answer them. And if not, we'll go through the questions at 10 to 1 and we will have 10 minutes there to do that. So you're really welcome. There's about 50 plus booking in now as we speak. So continue to log in, and I will hand you over now to Alan O'Mara of Al Media. Thank you, Alan.
Okay, thanks, Christine, and welcome everyone. I hope you're enjoying the day so far. What I'm going to do is, obviously this is a quick workshop. So I've picked off some points that I'm going to cover today. And I'm going to share slides with you there, and I will jump between slides in the web. So I'm going to, hopefully you'll see my slides there now at the moment. So initially, like, what I want to see is the people have their website, but they're looking at content, promotion, tracking. What are you doing? What have you done with that? You've built your website. Okay, so the website's built. Now you need to concentrate on content. Okay, so from that point of view, when we're looking at the web, I will ask people, right? So if people say, okay, can people see the slides there? I'm just trying to see, can people? Okay, so no one can see the slides. Now, just 2 seconds, because I have shared my screen, which should do. Oh, hold on. So 2 seconds. Okay, can people see slides now?
Yes, Alan, I can see them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry, that was just, yeah, I need to share more. Okay. So when we're looking at the web, right, I'm assuming everyone has a website built at the moment, okay? So from that point of view, if I was to ask you a question in the chat there, just for anyone, if Alan O'Mara was to open up Google now, and I was going to search for your business, for your product categories or your services, what would I search for? What would I search for? Just if you give me an idea there, what I would search for, okay? I just want to see. Okay, if people can put that up in the chat there so I can just see what people would search for. Okay. Okay, I'm getting it there now. Okay. So I'm getting different things there, right? Packaging, dog accessories, Irish fashion, mediation, PowerPoint training, architect. Okay, so I've got a few there, right? Now, you have your website, right? I'm assuming a lot of people have their website there already, okay? Now, the next question is, if I was to pull up your website, can you tell me, if I search for Irish fashion on your website, if I search for dog accessories, if I search for architect, jewelry, what page on your website would I land on? What page would I land on if I searched? What page would you expect me to land on? Just if you throw it up there again in the chat. Okay, I'm seeing a home page, right? And that's what people expect, right? The last place, home page again, that's the last place I'd want to land, okay? That's the last place I'd want to land. And the reason being, and if you think about it, for those that said, I'm going to jump on the web actually there, right? So I'm going to go on the web. So if I did search architect, for me, that's not good enough. It's not good enough for your targets. So to explain, everyone should be able to go, okay, Alan, yes, Architects Cork, right? I'm going to assume Cork, let's say Kerry, Limerick, wherever it is, wherever your location is. If I search, that should come up. If I search jewelry, what type of jewelry is it? And what I'm getting at is, often when you're building your website, if I was to ask the question, how many people really sat down with a developer and worked out their navigation, worked it out to a T where it breaks down to categories, where it breaks down to services? And what I mean by that is, if I said Architect Cork, someone put up architect there, I'm going to say Architect Cork, right? I'm in Cork. So, but would I want to be found under that? Yes, it would be a target. But do people search for passive architects and the different elements, the different services you offer? Because if you do, that should be broken down. Photography, art, someone put up. And what I'm getting at is, if I do a search, right? And let's say if I show you there, if I search for, I'd show you this as an example actually. If I search kids Clark shoes, right? You can see results coming up here, right? So you should be seeing the web there, Google now for me, right? You can see results. There's ads running, which are text-based ads. There's Google shopping ads that are running. And then these are organic results. Shop for Kids, Clark's Outlet, Arnott's, Marks and Spencer's, and you'll see other results coming through there. Now, when you think about that and when we look at it, right, if I go to Arnott's, that has brought me to the Kids Clark Shoes page, right? It hasn't brought me to the homepage of the website where it says, look, we're going to land them on the homepage and let them find the Kids Clark Shoes themselves. No, they bring me directly to the Kids Clark Shoes page. And this is the thinking in the time I have today. This is what I want businesses to start thinking about going, because what often happens is you have your website up, right? The website's there, you're going, great, the website's done, and you've put a lot of work into it, you've put a lot of time getting the content, getting the artwork together and everything. But at what time did you think in that process going, if someone searches for our service, how do they get found? Where does that come up? Because there's no way one page on your website can get found under multiple categories, multiple services. So it's why, again, if I do a search, I did another. You just see, if I do a search for Adidas original trainers, again, we've ads which you could do, okay? We've got text-based ads, but the one thing I want to show you first, and I'll explain why, is this, where sites, you can see I did a search for Adidas trainers, you can see Adidas come up, but then under there, you can see lifestyle sports and so on, right? And if I show you, again, we're landing on the Adidas Originals page. We're landing on the Adidas Original page, right? And you can see the breakdown, men's, right? Shop by brand, women's, shop by brands, Adidas, Asics, Champion, Converse. So if I search for women's Converse, they have a target page that they want for women's Converse, okay? So if you think of that, what we're trying to do with our websites, what you're trying to do, because you've all businesses where you want your services or your key product categories to be found so that people land on the website that will generate business interactions and so on for you. We can't achieve that if you've generic content. If you haven't sat down and worked out your navigation here, it can't happen. If you don't say it, you don't get found, right? And to do that, you need to understand this, the navigation. And it's often where I see people let themselves down on the site, or haven't, not that you've let, it's that conversation hasn't happened. Listen, and you have to think of the navigation as opening multiple doors on your website that people can come through. So it's not like the homepage is your shop door and everyone comes through that homepage. You open up multiple doors by having targets. So you have, in this case, you have the targets for the shoes, women's, boys, girls, men's, the different types of clothing, shoes, etc. that's going on. That's why they're there. They target by GAA. That's the thinking that they have there. That's what they've brought to it. So the likes of those that said kids code, dog accessories, you need to go, okay, what are my categories? And if someone goes to shop, have I broken down my categories with real targets? Not, you'll have an educated guess yourself. You know your businesses better than anyone, right? You know what they're about. But when it comes to the web, let's say we first need the navigation. So you have the websites, you need to test your navigation. Go, okay, do I have it? Do we use a scenario? If someone searches for dog accessories, which page on my website should they land on? Because you should be able to pinpoint a page and go, okay, that's the dog accessories page, right? And let's actually take, right? I'll just run with the dog accessories there. Then what I would do is, to give you a working example, I would say we've got, if you think about it, we've design and content, we've promotion, we've tracking. There are three key elements. And I suppose you've thought about the website, and a lot of people think about the website, but it's actually an online presence you're creating. It's not just a website solely on its own. And to build a good online presence, we need design, we need content, we need promotion, we need tracking. So the design starts with the website, but then we're looking at how fast is the website. That matters. Speed of the website. If you find your website is loading slowly, you need to get that sorted, because Google will penalize you on that and maybe ignore you. So you need to check that. Sometimes it's a hosting issue. But the navigation design is also very important, because if we haven't designed targets, how can we drive targeted traffic to our page to get found? So if I go, so let's say I take, someone put in dog accessories there, okay? So if we look at that, we go then, let's say we'd have a keyword database, okay? So if you look at a keyword database, there's different ones, right? I'll show you. This one's called SEM Rush, Keyword Magic Tool, right? I'm not logged in. I might be logged into another one. I should be. I'll check. Okay. But if I said in Ireland, so you decide where you're going to look at your targets. But if I said in Ireland, how many people a month search for dog accessories? Okay. So we see there's 480 searching for dog accessories. Dog accessories Ireland, 260, right? Now we know there's a target. There's X amount of people a month searching for dog accessories. That's one of our targets. So if I do a search for dog accessories, you'll see, okay? You'll see the sites coming up, home store and more, right? But you'll see they bring us to the dog accessories page, right? Pet accessories, in this case, they're calling it, okay? So you can see that. Again, same here. So again, it's bringing me to the dog accessories page. It's not bringing me to the home page of that website. And then to bring you on the next step, so what we've looked at now so far is, I just want to try for people to go, listen, break it down, forget the technical elements of the site. If you think about it, you have a navigation. You want to make sure you have your key targets on your navigation, be it services, be it product categories. You want to know what the people search for, Joe Soap basically. Do they search for your category or your service? So we do a check for that in the likes of SEM Rush. This one is Keyword Magic Tool. Okay, anyone can just create an account for free and use it, right? It'll give you a certain, if you're on a free account, it'll give you a certain amount of searches a day, which you do. But you start checking and you go, okay, I get it. Now I have a page on my website for dog accessories. Okay, I know that. I know 480 plus 260. So I know there's at least over 700 a month searching for dog accessories. So now what I want to see is I'll go to my analytics, right? Google Analytics is a free piece of code that will go on your website, and it tracks basically everything that happens. Okay. Now, what I would do in Google Analytics then as a quick check, I'd go behavior, I'd go site content, I'd go landing pages. Now, what we're going to see here isn't dog accessories, but I'll just give you the concept. If I go and show for the month of September, show me what traffic we've had on the site. Okay, where am I there? 2 secs. Okay, so we see what traffic the site has had in a month, right? And if I know there's 700 odd searching, now in this one it's a different story, but you'd see your page. So this could be dog accessories. And if we saw, right, 1,741 hitting the page, landing on the page, and then we look across and we've revenue hooked up, we see that we made 5,050 off that. So you start to see, and I think for people listening that have the website built and go, okay, what do we do next? I think that's one of the first checks you do. You go back and you go, actually, I need to see, do I have a solid navigation on my website with targets? Because if you don't see it, it's not magically going to find you. You need to be able to see it. The site needs to be able to have its target to open up multiple doors. Okay, so and then you look at the other elements then. Once that core structure is right, once the website design is right, and you have your landing pages, that's when things come into play. Because what happens an awful lot is, you see people start, right? They start straight in and they build their website. And suddenly they're expecting sales, they're expecting contacts and leads, and it doesn't come. But they haven't thought about the promotion, they haven't checked the design of the site. So now if I have landing pages for multiple categories, multiple services, okay, multiple categories, multiple services, now if I start looking at the promotional tools, the likes of social media, advertising, Google ads, and so on, now I have a target to drive the traffic to on my website. Whereas what happens is, and what a lot of people said this morning is, they expect people to land on the homepage, which isn't the correct area. And a lot of people from their social media and so on are linking back, and email marketing are linking back to the homepage. So if you imagine you're linking back to the homepage all the time of a website, you're throwing traffic to what is going to be a shop window. It's a generic mix of everything you have. Whereas if you say, okay, we're going to promote dog accessories, pet accessories today, or the next month, or the next week, pet accessories is our focus. Well, then when you're putting up a post on social media, when you're running an ad in Google Ads or wherever it is, you're driving the traffic to the pet accessories page, not the homepage. Because what that does then is, it gets Google to wake up basically and go, why is all the traffic going directly landing on this page? What's this page? And if it's set up correctly, it's the pet accessories page. Okay, people seem to like that page. People interact on that page. Let's give them credit. Let's boost them under that topic. And that's where we can get found under multiple topics, multiple categories, multiple services. So we start pushing that. So that's the train of thought you need coming into it, going, okay, where's my target? People search for it. And then by driving traffic to it, it's got two things. It'll boost you in the ranking, but it will also generate direct sales, because you're landing someone in on the page they want to see. You're not landing them on the homepage and saying, go find it somewhere now, go look for it. You can land them directly in. So be it email marketing, be it social media, or anywhere you're interacting, bring them back onto the key pages. That's what starts getting things working for you. Whereas I see a lot of people are doing ads, right? So they launch their website and they start advertising campaigns, right? Be it in social media, Google ads and all. And I'm not knocking any of them. They all are valuable. They all work, and some of them work differently for different businesses and so on. So they all have a place. But when you're paying for ads constantly and you're not sending them to a targeted landing page on your website, you're not getting long-term gain. You're doing short-term, as in, yes, you'll get sales, and if it works, you'll keep it going, that's fine. But long-term gain is where your site is growing organically and starting to rank high in the top 10 under the key targets, the key categories on your site, the key services on your site. Because if we're driving ads in social media to the key pages, they start boosting. Whereas if we're paying for ads and everything, just sending to the homepage all the time, Google isn't making sense of it, right? It's just, yeah, we'll land them on there. And actually Google gives, you can actually run a cheaper ad if you land them directly on a key page, because Google connects the words and goes, okay, if we give that result to a user that's looking, they're going to get a better result. So you can often, if you're running good ad campaigns and to targeted pages, the campaign can actually run cheaper for you. So it's to look at these things and see. And I suppose in the time we have, I'm just trying to, that's one thing that I wanted to just kind of get across as clearly as I could, going navigation, landing pages, whatever promotion tools you're using, drive traffic, decide we need to get, like, okay, there might be a shop there that needs to get rid of stock now before Christmas stock comes in. What are the categories on that? Okay, we need to drive them to those landing pages. That's what we need to do, okay? And then track it. Make sure it's working, right? And then when I move into tracking, right? So we've designed, we're doing our promotion now. And I will say one thing on promotion, because I see it a lot, in that a lot of people, when they're building their online presence, they're starting at everything. And they're going, okay, and I see sometimes there's a bit of fear because, oh, we're not used to the technology, we don't know the terminology. But break it down and go, okay, I know my business. I know what I want to get out of this, be it online or offline, and break it down to that and go, okay, someone's telling me there's my website, but someone's telling me I need to do Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn. I need to be doing email marketing, etc., etc. There's an endless list. But you need to sit down and go, what am I capable of doing? You know, in the micro enterprise sector, what is your business capable of taking on board? Or what does your business have a budget to do? And what I mean by that is, I see a lot of people get their websites built, and maybe as part of the plan, they're told, listen, we'll set you up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and we'll do a couple of blog posts for you, and we'll do an email marketing campaign for you. And then they're finished. You pay them and the project is finished. And then who maintains it? Who has the ability? And did anyone have a conversation with you to say, listen, do you think your audience are on Facebook? Do you think they use Facebook? Because there's no point you spending half a day a week or a couple hours a week on Facebook if you don't think your audience are on Facebook, you know? Because I see lots of businesses are trying to manage all the social media platforms, and either they don't have the budget to keep it going, or it's time consuming and they don't have the time, and they fall flat. They just melt because there's too much in it. And you'd be going, well, listen, do you really need that one? And that's where tracking comes into play. Because if we jump back to tracking, I can go in here, acquisition, I can go in overview, hold on, I go actually all traffic, and I go channels, and I can actually see where the traffic is coming from and where the money is being made from. So suddenly, look, social media doesn't even appear on this one. So if I'm spending half a day a week on social media, I'm doing something wrong, or my audience isn't on social media. And you often see, right? Let's say there's businesses listening here today, and you're going to go home this evening. You're going to go, do you know what? I have an email marketing campaign to do. I was meant to do it the other day. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. And you go home this evening, and you send out that email campaign. My question to you would be, that's when you had time, right? That's when you had time to send that email campaign, to get it ready and send it. But is that when your audience had time to open that email, to interact with it, to read it, to click on it, to go to your website, to browse your products or service and make an action. Because if the answer to that is no, then you sent it out at the wrong time. And timing is important, be it with social media, etc., etc. Like, I'll give an example. We're working with music festivals now again that they're back open, right? One of them announced they're going selling tickets next week. It's on a Saturday. They're going to sell on a Saturday at 10 o'clock, right? Why? 9 o'clock's too early for the target market. 10 o'clock, they want to get it out there. They know on a Saturday, they will get the audience. On a Friday morning, potentially not, because their target audience would be on social media, would be in full-time employment and probably blocked from social media and work. So it's going on a Saturday. And what I'm trying to get across is, it's an educated guess at the start, but you need to think about going, okay, when are we sending these campaigns? What platforms should we use? Should we just start with one or two, see how they work, and move from there? And don't be scared of them, as in, don't be scared of like getting your products up on other platforms. You know, Instagram, connect your products, connect straight back, because it's so popular. If you're selling products, it's probably one to look at. You know, Facebook, you can integrate your shop into it and then it leads back to the website. But look at the platforms. And I'm not saying for everyone listening to understand them and do it all yourselves, but what I'm trying to get across is, if you always come back to design, promotion, tracking, okay, we have our design, we have our targets. What promotion tools are we going to decide to use, that we have a budget to use, that we have the time within the business or someone within the business that can work on those and then track to see what's working. But the first step is having title tags right. And if you look, right, I'll just show you. I'm going to jump on. I was on one this morning and I was looking at it. If you look at JD Sports there, right, and if I go women's Adidas Originals like I did a minute ago, right, just to show you the logic. So they have women's Adidas Originals. So if I look for women's Adidas Originals, they have their page. If you look, and this is what I want to show, right? I just want to show this, how to read a page without technically knowing the language around it. If I go up at the top here, you can see it says women's Adidas Originals. That's their target. So they have a title tag that says that. They have a heading that says women's Adidas Originals. And they'll mention Adidas Originals in here again. And then if you look at all the products, Adidas Originals, Adidas Originals, Adidas Originals, they stay on topic because that's what helps them get found. You can see they're bringing me into footwear, because then women's Adidas Originals trainers, you can see what they're doing. That's the logic. And it's not spam as such, you know, like if you look, women's Adidas Originals, women's Adidas Originals, women's Adidas Originals, but it reads okay. But that's the logic you have to bring to your site when you're working on these key landing pages. Have I mentioned the keyword in there? Have I introduced it into the content, into the title tag, into the heading, into the paragraph text, into the product, into the service? And if that's not there, that's when there's a problem with the site, because it's generic content. And then you're going to be paying for ads and yes, maybe getting sales, but you want to boost it long-term under the different categories that you're opening up multiple doors on your website. So treat your website nearly like you've micro-sites. So the doors, you could have 10, 20, 30. Look at Littlewoods came up there when I searched for Kids Clarks, wasn't it? If I went on to Littlewoods, they have homeware, they have toys, kids' toys, Lego, everything. Yet when I search for Kids Clarks, they come up. They've optimized the page. They're also driving traffic to it, promotion and so on. And you got to think about that, okay? Now, the other thing I want to mention, right, is blogs and news articles. Everyone's getting a website built and everyone says, oh, you need blog, you need news, and everyone's putting them up. And that's fine. I have no issue with that because there's value in them. It can grow the content on your website. But what I have a problem with blogs is generic blogs, where someone goes, oh, such and such told me I need to write a blog every week, so I wrote a blog. Not great at the writing, but I wrote a blog, and you did a blog and you put up the blog. I'd be more going, listen, go into the keyword databases, and we see that there's over 700 a month searching for dog accessories. Like if I showed you, if I did, what did I say earlier? Kids, Clark's shoes. 2,900 a month searching for kids Clark's shoes, right? So if I was looking at my shoe website for kids Clark's shoes, or the dog accessory website, or the architect site, and if I thought passive house design was a big search term, dog accessories, kids Clark's shoes. If I was writing a blog today and I was going, okay, it's coming into winter, searches for kids Clark's shoes are going to go higher. We need to grow our content on kids Clark's shoes. I'd write a blog about fitting kids shoes, fitting kids Clark's shoes, and I'd get kids Clark's shoes into it. I wouldn't finish the blog and kind of say, thank you for reading. I'd have sharing options so people can share the blog so it can reach another audience, or link back here to buy the product, link back here to serve, and you link back to the other page about kids Clark's shoes, about passive architecture, whatever it is. So you're looping and growing content. And that's a targeted blog then. That's one that's growing quality content on your website, not generic, you know? And that's what I think. Like, I'd prefer to see one of those a month, a good quality blog, than throwing up one or two every week that you're going, oh, I need to do this. Okay, we'll throw up a paragraph there, we'll do this, with no train of thought to it. It's always like everyone here is a business, everyone here is commercial, and everyone here is trying to get sales, get interactions, and get engagement on their website. So the core structure needs to be correct, as in the website, and the targets, the navigation. Because I'll often look at websites where people go, listen, your navigation needs to be redone before you do anything. Then you need to think about your promotional tools, the ones that will work for you, right? And really think about them. Who is your audience? Where are they? How do they engage online? How do we reach them online? You know, when we're looking at that, so the age profile of them, what platforms they hang out on, and what time of day they're probably browsing. So if you think of it, if I was to say, what time are we? We're nearly 10 to 1, so I'll be finishing in about 2 minutes and Christine will come back in. But just like if you're thinking about that, who's the audience? Is 1 o'clock on a Thursday a time to send out to them? Or is it more, would 9 o'clock in the evening be better target time? We can automate things. So you could have everything ready and go and actually go at 9 o'clock, because my target market, if I said that music festival I was talking about, they'll be under 30, the majority of that target market. So I'd be going, if we wanted to do something to follow up to the ticket sales, maybe we go out on a Sunday evening at 9 o'clock. Why? Because, or a Monday, anytime, because work finished, home, gym, kids, drops, everything done, maybe at 9 o'clock in the evening, they're sitting down in front of TV with a phone or a tablet, and a post or a notification comes in, and that's when they click on it. That's when they interact with it. So I hope you're getting to see just the thought that has to come into it, just the logic you have to bring into the next phase of your website. Design is there. Now, yeah, when are our target market on? How do they interact online? What platforms should we use to reach them? But it all comes back to then having the target pages, landing them on the target pages to grow your sales, to grow your contacts, to grow your leads. Okay? And it's just, as I said, don't be afraid to use the other platforms that are there as well to get your products on them. If it's a lead, if it's a sale, it is. You know, it's an online presence you're building here. So it's just to grow that from all the platforms if you think they're suitable for you. But sometimes I see businesses take on too much of them. And when the developer finishes with them, they're not capable of continuing, be it through budget or time, they're time poor. And then it's the fastest thing that will date your online presence, not updating. You know, you're trying to keep all these platforms up to date and then you can't. And suddenly there's a post up there that's 6 months old, 12 months old. And then you're diluting your brand because people are confused. Are they still going? Did they stop? What? So just be careful on that. Just plan it, have a strategy. But I think the first point you need to go back to for a lot of people maybe is think about your product categories, think about your services, break them down. Do people search for them, or what are the keywords they search for related to the topics? Get your targets, then start deciding on your promotional tools. You'll have to have a budget for ads, obviously, and then decide whether you're going to do posts yourselves, email marketing, and then start pushing the pages, the category pages from there, and pushing your service and products and reaching out. Okay, I'm going to finish at that. I'm Alan O'Mara from Al Media Design. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. I'm going to pass you back to Christine there to finish up. So
Thanks,
I'll let
Alan.
you take over, Christine.
Thanks a million, Alan. I know it's difficult to fit so much information into such a short session, but it is just a brief session today. It's not a training course, but hopefully it gave you all a bit of food for thought. So there are some questions. I've taken note of the different questions. So if we can get through maybe 5 of the questions between now and 1, and hopefully others will learn from the questions as well. So Kate Beckett asked a question: how do you make sure they land, and I think she means customers, they land on the right page? Is it SEO? So how do you make sure?
SEO is the key starting point of it, right? So for those, SEO is search engine optimization, which involves, a lot of it is involved, like what I was saying, picking a landing page on your website, but then making sure that you have a title tag, a proper title tag on it, right? That you have a meta description. The meta description is what comes up in Google when we do a search. You can put that, you don't need to know code to put that in. Anyone that has a content management system, at the bottom of their page will see SEO, page title, description. They're key to getting that first. But then on the page itself, the physical page that you're targeting, you need headings with potentially keywords in it, the paragraph text, and so on. And then around that page, once we know we've that page content correct and quality, then we start generating links to the page, okay? We start generating links to the page. And I'll show you something very quickly, actually. I did a search the other day, right? Actually, do you know what I do? Very quickly, I know there's other questions, but I'll just show very quickly. If I search motor bikes for sale, right? You'll see Dundee comes up. So if you look, Dundee have done their title tags, they've done their meta description, they've done their headings. They're not in control of their content, so they haven't done that. But one thing I want to show you that might get the idea of links, internal links and external links. See here, motorbikes for sale. They've spelled out basically the search term in the footer. The footer on your page is identical on every page you have. Dundee have nearly 1 million pages. So they have 1 million links that they've created to motorbikes for sale on their website. It's not spam. That's accessible. You do that. You don't put everything in your navigation, but if you picked off 2 or 3 of your key topics and then link them to the landing page. If I search for vehicle history check, I guarantee it'll be up there. And even cars for sale, I guarantee it'll be up there. So it's a balance, I suppose, what I'm saying, between 100% have your navigation and your landing page correctly. Then, like what I said, promotion, driving from social media, from email marketing to that page, and internally as well, be it through blogs or the footer or wherever, linking to that page. That starts to grow the quality of that page. So it's a balance between the links and the content. Okay.
Thanks a million, Alan. I'm just looking at the questions and trying to figure out which questions would be of most benefit to most people. So I know Sarah Devoy, who's actually from our neck of the woods here in West Cork. Hi, Sarah. So she'd asked a question: is there any way that people can access a list of people who can support small businesses to help them with all the tech end of their websites? Now, I know, Sarah, the answer to that is, like, we don't have lists to give out to clients. Nothing comes free, really, when you're working on your website, does it, Alan?
And a lot of the time, it's finding a developer that you can work with or a designer that you can work with. But if you see a website you like, if you often look at the bottom of the page, and I'll explain this as well because it'll give you an insight into what developers do. You know, when you go to the footer of your own website that a developer built for you, and you'll see at the bottom, website design, Cork, we'll say, you often see, or Kerry, or wherever it is, by, and the name of the company. The web design Cork or Kerry will be the link. And what they'll be doing is that link is clickable and it goes back to their page, their landing page on their website that says Web Design Cork. So every website they build, they're driving traffic back. It's the equivalent of when you buy a car and the garage puts that sticker on the back of your car that you don't want. They're promoting themselves. That's what developers are doing as well. So what I'm saying for yourselves, if you see sites that are being found, sites that you like, if you look down there, those developers are doing that, and maybe that's the way to go, because there is no list. The Leos don't have lists, and there is no real list out there of developers that are rated or anything like that. So it's up to you to do the research.
Thanks a million, Alan. I know Nuala O'Connor had asked a question about, is there step-by-step simple instructions? And I suppose the response to that, Alan, is to do a training course with your local enterprise office, most of which are running at very subsidised costs or even free with some local enterprise offices. So would you agree with that response?
Yeah, because I know, like, I think I'll have ones coming up with yourselves there for the web design, the SEO, the tracking. So the Leos, all Leos tend to have similar courses on those, on the web, on social media, and they are a good starting point. Like, if you wanted, if I was to say to anyone, if anyone was going to leave today and go, no, I want to do something right now, I would visually go on your website and I would look at your title. Actually, I'll show you one thing, right? Because this will give it to you actually, and it'll be better. If you were looking, let's say this, if you were looking at your website, so if I wanted to check out someone's website, okay? And if someone said, look, I want to see what my title tags and meta descriptions are, you can go to Google and type site, right? And the name of the website. You can see ones I was checking there actually. So I'll just go into Giles Norman there. And what I was doing on that one is I'm checking what their title tags are and what their meta descriptions are on every page they have, because it gives me a sense of what targets they have already, or do they have targets. So that's where I go first for some people. Put in your own website there, site on your own website, because suddenly you go, some of you'll see about, home, contact, which is no good because there's no target in that. There's no keywords in those. And you start to go, okay, I don't have proper title tags and meta descriptions. Then start looking at your navigation on your website. But yeah, it's building up that process. But I suppose what I'm trying to get across is it's not all the coding and the technical behind the scenes that you think it is, and the fear that people have with updating title tags and meta description stuff. It's that knowledge, the bit of knowledge. And I think from going on some of the Leo courses, that would grow and you'd get that.
Okay, thanks, Alan. I'm just conscious that there's 2 minutes to go, so I think we should, at this stage, finish up. There was just a quick question from Miriam Doyle that came in there. Any tips to manage time and effort when you have thousands of pages to fill in with meta title and description? Can you trust someone else to do it? I'm thinking of using Fiverr.
Well, can you trust someone else to do it? It depends, but I can tell you, you should know how to check it, right? How to check it. And if you look at what I was trying to show earlier on, and I know this is very quick and fast today, but like I went down JD Sports, right? So let's say to that question, if a company said, look, we're going to optimize you under pet accessories and dog accessories, your question to them, can you tell me which pages you're going to optimize, what ones you're targeting on my website? And they'll tell you. And then you can start checking to see if they've done any work by rolling over the title tag and see whether it's targeted or whether it's generic. Because I often see people say, oh, I got SEO done. And then I look at a title tag and it says shoes. I'm going, no, you didn't. Someone said they did it, but you didn't get anything done. Then you check whether your content is updated here, whether it's targeted. And you can start to read your pages from that point of view. You can start to see there. So I think that if people were looking for a next step, learn how to read your pages, right? Learn how to read and look at your page. And I don't mean technically, I mean visually. I think like lots of people have done courses of mine where I just teach them to do that. Go, listen, if you look at that page, if you look at your competitor's page, you can see what they're doing. Now you know what your competitor's doing. Now you know what you're missing. And it takes all that coding and all that technical aspect out of it, and it just breaks it down. And I think that's where you need to be comfortable with. If you can get to that level, then you're understanding it's your business. I want to get found under this. My website's not doing it. I can't see any change. Or someone's doing this. I can see the changes. But it's looking at that. Hope that helps.
Alan, thank you so much. I would say fair play to you. You got so much in such a short length of time, and I've sat through some of Alan's training courses myself with the local enterprise offices, and he has so much information to give, and today was probably a bit of a challenge for you trying to fit it all in, but you did a great job in such a short length of time, so thank you so much. And especially thank you to everyone for joining us today at this session on National Women's Enterprise Day. Remember, the lunchtime energizer session with Jerry Duffy is about to start if you have time to partake in that during your lunch break. And of course, the afternoon session is commencing again at 2 p.m. So it was fantastic to have you all here today. Thanks again, Alan. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here with us. Thank you all.